Hello, everyone. It's Sibyl Star, and I am here to share with you today my video series called Meet Your Star Nation Relatives. And this is the second in the series. And today we're going to meet our Star Nation relatives, the Sirians, those from the Sirius Star System, which is the image that is behind me. And in this video, we will discover why this is important, who the Sirians are, at least what I have learned so far, which, there's so much more to learn. This is just the tip of the iceberg, I'm sure. Learn about what was Sirian Starseeds, and could you be one? And at the end, I will talk about Galactic Astrology as a tool to discover your own starseed origin. All right, so let us just dive in here. Okay. There we are. Meet your Star Nation relatives, the Sirians. All right. So meet your Star Nation relatives. And so as we are in the ascension process known as the Great Shift, our consciousness is opening and expanding, and with that comes a remembering that we are multidimensional beings having an experience of separation from source. But the true reality is that we have never left source. Our experience is that of being an aspect, a fractal, or a fragment of the one. Part of the 3D reality experience has been to forget this, but now is the time of remembering who we are. Remembering that we are multidimensional beings having experiences in different realities and dimensions. There is no past or future. There is only the present moment. There is only now, and everything is existing at the same moment, at the same time, but in different timelines. We also have families and other star nations, as well as having a starseed lineage. There has been a quarantine on Earth that has prevented our Star Nation relatives from having direct contact with us for quite a while. But that quarantine has been lifted, and it is now time to make relations once again with our galactic family, who we could also call our cosmic cousins. Our Star Nation relatives need us to remember them, as they are here to help us with this shift in consciousness here on Mother Earth as we rejoin the cosmic collective that we are part of. Bashar is, if you don't know who Bashar is, he is there is a man who channels him. His name is Daryl Anka. And Bashar says he is a Sasani being from the future. He is Daryl Anka's future self. Anyway, he says that 2023 is a year that will begin a 10-year open contact window. And we must elevate our consciousness so that we can meet them in the higher frequency dimensions in their resonant field. As 3D, the third dimension, is very difficult for most of them to manifest in, although some can. We can meet star beings in the same dimensions as the magical beings, such as the fairies, the elves, the gnomes, the mermaids, where they all still live within that dimension of Mother Earth. And today we will be meeting the Sirians, but in later videos, we will be meeting other star nations as well. So Sirius, I'm going to move my image here. Let me move here. Okay. All right. So Sirius is the brightest star in the night sky. It is a white star with a little bit of a blue-white. The visual magnitude of Sirius is minus 1.44. It is brighter than any other star. There are brighter stars than Sirius in terms of actual energy and light output, but they are further away and hence appear dimmer. Normally, the only objects that outshine Sirius in our heavens are the sun, the moon, Venus, Jupiter, sometimes Mars, and it's really seldom Mercury. Usually Sirius outshines Mercury too. And it's important to remember that our sun is actually our star. Okay. And what the naked eye perceives as a single star is actually a binary star system consisting of the white main sequence star named Sirius A and a faint white dwarf companion called Sirius B. You can see them here in this image right here. Okay, here is Sirius A, and then here is Sirius B out here. And it says, let's see, the distance separating Sirius A from its companion varies between 8.2 and 31.5 light years. Sirius appears bright because of both its intrinsic luminosity and its proximity to Earth. At a distance of 8.6 light years, the Sirius system is one of Earth's nearest neighbors, and Sirius is gradually moving closer to the solar system, so it will slightly increase in brightness over the next 60,000 years. After that time, its distance will begin to recede, but it will continue to be the brightest star in Earth's sky for the next 210,000 years. Now, there was a third star in this system called Sirius C that has either died or was destroyed. It appears that Sirius and our sun are orbiting around the same gravitational point, and some say that we are actually part of the Sirius constellation. And I have heard other extraterrestrial beings in their channeling say that to them, we look like we are part of the Sirius Star System. Okay, the Dogon tribe of Mali knew about Sirius C long before modern science, as they said they were visited by beings from Sirius who told them about their star system. So we have here the constellation that Sirius is part of, which is called Canis Major. It's also known as the Dog Star, as it is the brightest star in the constellation of the Greater Dog. And now you can see it here. Here is the actual constellation. And some say that the Sirius is in the neck. Others say it's in the nose. It depends on if the dog's head is turned. So, I don't know. That I've just read both, but it looks to me like it's in the neck. Anyway, and then of course here is Sirius B called Merzam. That is another name for Sirius B is Merzam. Okay, and as seen from and here we are, and you can find Sirius by looking at the three stars in the belt of Orion. Here is the three stars in the belt of Orion. I don't have the whole image here. I wish I did, but anyway, here's the belt of Orion, and you can see if you look down and to the left, there is Sirius. It's very easy to find. Orion is one of the most visual stars. You can find Orion very easily in the night sky, and with that you can find Sirius. Sirius B is also known as Merzam and can be seen here in the lower image as well. But today I'm going to be sharing only about Sirius A. Sirius B will have its own PowerPoint presentation. All right. Okay, so there's three important dates. I'm going to kind of move myself a bit here. Okay. There's three important dates in relation to Sirius. The first is when the sun is in alignment with Sirius. And this year, that alignment is on July 6th. Now the fixed stars, their location to Earth, or let's put it this way, our ability to locate them in the night sky kind of changes a bit over time due to the precession of the equinoxes and the tilt of the Earth's axis. Okay. But anyway, this year, 2023, on July 6th is the day that Sirius is in direct alignment, but is within range several days before and after. And Sirius is located at 14 degrees, 24 minutes of Cancer. The light of Sirius pours through our sun and is then dispersed throughout our solar system. It's a very powerful time to connect with Sirius energy. And it's important to know the sun in the chart of the United States on July 4th, 1776, has a 13-degree Cancer is located at 13 degrees of Cancer and is aligned with Sirius. Our founders were Freemasons, and this date was chosen due to this alignment with Sirius. The United States is under the protection of Isis and Sirius. Washington, D.C. has much Egyptian and Greek iconography on its buildings. And a little later in the presentation, I will be talking about the relationship between Isis and Sirius, the great goddess Isis, okay? The second is the heliacal rising of Sirius, which occurs from July 28th to August 12th. And this is when this Sirius rises before the sun after being hidden for around 70 days due to the light of the sun. And this, in ancient Egypt, this was a time when the flooding of the Nile would occur, and it was the beginning of their Egyptian New Year. Now with the Aswan Dam, you know, the flooding is more controlled. And the third important date with Sirius is the Lion's Gate, and that occurs on August 8th every year. And this is when Sirius is closest to our solar system and closest to the Earth, closest to the sun and the Earth. And it is called the Lion's Gate 8-8 portal. It is the opening of a galactic gate that delivers high frequency energy into our beings, allowing us to rebirth our spirit energy and the spirit energy of Mother Earth. Okay, very powerful dates here. Okay, and here we are, the Sirius connection with Egypt. All right, so the star Sirius was considered by the Egyptians to be the celestial form of the great goddess Aset, Isis. Aset was her Egyptian name, Isis was her Greek name. I'm going to move myself so you can have a full view of her. Okay. All right. And so also Sopdet was the Egyptian name for Sirius. Sothis was the Greek name for Sirius. And the Queen's Chamber in the Great Pyramid had an opening that was aligned with Sirius. Now, Osiris was the Egyptian god of regeneration and the afterlife, as well as the husband of Isis. Orion was believed to be the celestial form of Osiris and was also seen as the pharaoh. They believed the closeness of Sirius to Orion indicated their relationship. In more ancient depictions, Isis Aset has a throne on her as her headpiece, for all pharaohs receive their throne from Isis. It is in her hands. And Anubis is also very significant here because Anubis, of course, you know, is the great dog. He's the dog of Egypt. And the Egyptians believed Canis Major to be Anubis, the great guardian dog who assisted those who were astral traveling in their death and resurrection initiation ceremonies and assisted with the mummification process. And many of their deities are believed to have been star beings from Sirius, including Isis, Sekhmet, and Thoth, and I think many others as well. It is believed that the Sirians helped the Egyptians create their civilization, including the pyramids. So here is the mythology of Sirius and Canis Major. Okay, so here is once again the greater dog. Okay, all right. And I think Sirius is around here somewhere. Oh no, here they've got Sirius in the nose. This is one of the images where they have Sirius in the nose. Okay. All right. So Sirius was known by the ancients as the Scorcher or the Shining One. The principle of this star is the quest for immortality. Sirius has always been associated with great deeds. It was linked to the life-giving rising of the Nile, so was also called the Nile star. The Greeks saw Canis Major as the hunting dogs of Orion. The dog was one of the first animals that humans domesticated and was seen as a guardian in both life and death. The Egyptians believed the constellation to be Anubis, who was both guard and judge. There are some who believe the original Sphinx was actually the body of a dog, Anubis, due to the Egyptian relationship with Canis Major and Sirius. Osiris was his father, and he was the nephew of Isis, but she became his foster mother. There's a whole myth around that. Anyway, it is believed that cannabis, the plant, is originally from Sirius and was brought to Earth by Sirius star beings. Now, here is the astrology. Okay. Here is the astrology of Sirius. Okay. Once again, Sirius is at 14 degrees, 24 minutes of Cancer in 2023. And here's what Bernadette Brady says about Sirius. She says, Bernadette Brady is someone who has really studied the fixed stars in depth, their myths, their stories, and their archetypal energies. So Sirius struggles at a personal level as it seeks to link small personal actions to great sacred moments, to find the sacred in the mundane actions of daily life. And in this process, the individual can be sacrificed for the greater expression. And here's another understanding, and this one comes from the Astrology King. Fixed star Sirius is of the nature of Jupiter and Mars, high ambition, love of power, grandeur of view. It gives honor, renown, wealth, ardor, faithfulness, and passion. It can mark immense creative talents. It can make its natives custodians, curators, or guardians. And here it is when it's in alignment with some of our astrological planets. So in alignment with the sun, it can mean a person who can be sacrificed to the larger need, a vocation which overrides the normalness of one's life, to be swept up in emerging events, the potential for great and immortal events to occur, success in business. And some people who have this are Frida Kahlo, George W. Bush, and of course, the chart of the United States. The moon, a desire to create a lasting monument to a loved one, a person who connects with the common people, influential friends of the opposite sex, William Blake and Kurt Cobain. On the ascendant, it means to be touched by the gods, to have a sense of the divine, and to seek perfection in one's work, to struggle with the expression of one's passion, a splendid and illustrious life. Some people who have this are Michael Jordan, Albert Einstein, and Steven Spielberg. They have Sirius conjunct the ascendant. And Venus is the poet, the artist, or the talented musician, to look for divinity in one's relationships, ease, comfort, and luxury gained by inheritance. And some of those who have this are Carlos Santana, Mata Hari, Steve Martin, and Ernest Hemingway. All right. Okay, so who are the Sirians? All right. Okay, the Sirians are an extraterrestrial race of people who assist Earth. They are considered to be spiritual warriors and are more spiritually advanced than most off-world civilizations. They have been called blissful spiritual warriors. They appear human and are distant relatives to us, although they also have aquatic and feline beings in the Sirius Star System, and some have blue skin. Many Sirians have a lineage from the Lyra Vega system, as they were refugees from the Vegan-Lyra wars and colonized many of the planets in the Sirius Star System. The Sirians are, in general, benevolent aliens, fourth to sixth dimensional beings. Many Sirians are deeply wise, conscious, spiritual, and loving, empathic people, though they are much more evolved technologically and spiritually than us. They have a capacity for deep love that manifests as a commitment to service. Many are healers. Many nurses are from Sirius. Their auras vibrate at such a high rate that one can sense their tremendous clarity. They live in joy, learn in light, and open their hearts to everyone. They are conscious of their higher self, of transcendent reality, and the oneness of all creation. They are also masters of occult magic, which is mostly used for the light, but in their history, there have been some who have abused magic and used it for dark purposes, for mind control and manipulation. Some of these beings brought this dark magic to Earth. The Sirians are apologetic for the harm that was done to humans in the past with this dark magic. And here's a quote from Greg Campobasso, who wrote the book, The Extraterrestrial Species Almanac. Imprinted in our mind is the awareness of our soul, our spirit, connected to the one spirit. Once we awaken to the greater reality, the human Sirians will tutor us in the ways of the universe from behind the veil. Once we become fully conscious, they will tutor us in person. When he says the human Sirians, he means the humanoid Sirians. Okay. All right. All right. Now, Sirius was also known for having mystery schools. The Sirians are more advanced in the metaphysical sense, as Sirius is home to one of the most advanced training centers or universities known as the mystery schools. Many ascended masters travel here to teach and study. Sirius is a star system, which is a meeting place for beings of this galaxy who wish to continue their spiritual studies. I'm going to move my image here, my picture, just a bit so you can see this one. Okay. All right. The Sirius is a star system, which is a meeting place for beings of this galaxy who wish to continue their spiritual studies. There were schools of conscious awakening by the Sirians here on Earth, as well as on Sirius. Lisa Royal Holt has channeled a Sirian mystery school called the School of the Nine Serpents. And you can find Lisa Royal Holt. She's got a wonderful, she's written several books. One is called The Prism of Lyra, The Golden Lake, and she's got as well as others, Preparing for Contact. She's been channeling since I think the mid-90s, and she channels the Sirians and the Pleiadians. And she's also got a really wonderful YouTube channel if you want to learn more. And she's got a great card deck called the Galactic Heritage deck. And she has been one of the people that has channeled the galactic history. But anyway, she teaches this school called the School of the Nine Serpents. And based on Vegan mysticism, these schools were based on Vegan mysticism, as many were from the Lyra Vega star system colonized the planets of Sirius and brought these teachings with them. The Sirians are often associated with serpents, and according to Matthias de Stefano, some of the earliest beings from Sirius were serpent-like humanoids. Okay, now some of the ancient Sirian mystery schools on Earth included consciousness expansion and consciousness raising through the death and resurrection initiation ceremonies, the Kundalini rising schools in India, oracular schools like Delphi, and many schools of healing. They all had connections to the Sirian mystery schools. Okay, they also, I do believe, also had schools of sound healing and sacred geometry. They had many different kinds of schools. Okay, and it's important to remember the Uraeus, which is the snake on the Egyptian crown, indicates being an awakened soul, that the Kundalini is awakened, and that person is an awakened soul. The Hermetic schools, the schools of Hermes, could also be linked to the Sirian mystery schools. Okay, so the connections to Mother Earth. So Sirius has a direct connection with our solar system, as some of the planets in its star system actually come very close to our solar system. The Sirians have been among us since the times of the Mayan and Egyptian civilizations, and probably before that, but we know here that the Mayan and Egyptian, they had a huge influence on. They gave the Egyptians much advanced astronomical and medical information, and also gave the Mayan race advanced knowledge. They helped the Earth during the time of the cataclysmic period in Atlantis. The Sirians helped build the pyramids and temples of Egypt and all over the world. Wherever there are pyramids, the Sirians have been there. The Sirians have been some of our primary teachers to help us remember who we are. They are evolved with helping Earth into this new golden age. And some of these images, this image here, this is in the temple of Dendera, and this is Ptah, and he is also Sirian, and this is the light of Sirius shining down on him. I'm sorry I couldn't get the whole image in here, but this is the light of Sirius coming down. And of course, this is the pyramids of Egypt right here. They're under the star Sirius. And this is the temple, the Mayan temple just outside of Mexico City. And I'm not sure how to say it, so I'm not gonna try to Teotihuacan. I don't know. Anyway, all right. So now is, what is a starseed? Okay, a starseed is someone who has lived in other star systems prior to this life on Earth, or in some cases, a parallel life in another dimension during this current life. There's many of that going on as well. As we are now remembering that we are multidimensional beings, part of our ascension process is to become whole and integrate these aspects of our being, and to remember, as part of the integration process, starting to remember these other aspects of ourselves that are living in other dimensions and other timelines. Starseeds do have a star system that is their lineage or starseed family, and carry certain starseed markings. As we remember our lineage, we call our star families to us, which helps us remember our soul mission and the spark of divinity that we each carry. And so here's some Sirian Starseed traits. They are highly spiritual. Sirian Starseeds care very much about the deeper spiritual meaning of life. They can be uncomplicated. They're calm and grounded. They're slow to anger and maintain cool heads under pressure. They are task-oriented and efficient at whatever they put their minds to, because they can be very focused. Sirian Starseeds aren't great at expressing their emotions, so tend to internalize things and bury trauma. Sirian Starseeds develop rich inner worlds and tend to daydream. They are animal lovers and are said to be particularly fond of cats, dogs, whales, and dolphins. In the Sirius Star System, there are many water planets. Okay, Sirius A, but even more so in Sirius B, which we'll talk more about the water planets when I talk about Sirius B. Sirian Starseeds have a great sense of humor. They can be eccentric in appearance. The artistic and creative Sirians often see their bodies as just another canvas. They are healers. Sirian Starseeds are healers on the physical level. Many nurses are Sirians, as I spoke of before. They're very interested in metaphysics and magic, astrology, numerology, and all forms of magic and ceremony. They are open-minded and intelligent. Sirians subscribe to the truth of interdependence and co-creation. They can have balanced male and female energies. They do not like to be labeled or stereotyped. They can have difficulty adjusting to low energy. It doesn't matter what form this energy takes, from conversations to attitudes to foods. They can have trouble with medication, alcohol, or drugs. They can either be very sensitive or highly resistant, and they can also get headaches from unnatural light. Sirian Starseeds typically need natural lighting and have trouble working or being in unnatural light for long periods of time. And this is what Debbie Solera says, Sirians that are in a human body may encounter some health issues or potential, prone to insulin resistance metabolic syndrome. Also, some may develop heart conditions and weight issues. They are very hardworking and practical, very serious, tend to be caretakers, service to others, become very overworked and stressed out, good with paleo, keto, or low-carb diet, Need to take supplements to reduce stress, ashwagandha and valerian. So after listening to this, could you be a Sirian Starseed? So this is some galactic astrology. This is a service that I am offering now. And of course, down here is the actual birth chart. And, you know, the birth chart here shows the cosmic DNA or imprinting. Now, actually, the birth chart actually really shows the imprinting from our solar system. And it does have, you know, the different signs that are related to different star energies. But this is a chart, this is called a galactic chart. And this really pulls in the different star systems that we know have star nations that have been involved with humanity, and some that are actually further away. But and as I mentioned earlier, the stars we work with in galactic astrology are called fixed stars, okay? And fixed stars that are known to have planets with star nations, and those that have been involved with Mother Earth and humanity, okay? Although there are so many that we don't know, but the ones that have been involved with humanity, we actually do know more about them, okay? And this galactic astrology shows the imprinting from these star nations. Now, the chart that I have here is someone that I did a reading for, and I do have her permission to share this. And her sun is at 11 degrees, 56 minutes of Cancer. So it is conjunct Sirius A, okay? And over here is her birth chart. And you can see her sun here is at 11 degrees, 56 minutes. She also has Venus conjunct Sirius, although it's not showing up on the chart. I really needed to have, you know, a smaller version to see that. But anyway, so you can kind of see how this works. And I feel like it shows us our cosmic ancestry, and as well as which of the star nations are most present in our consciousness right now. It's like our ancestry may be French, but in this lifetime, we are living in the US. So that is where our focus is, but we still have the imprint of France in our DNA. And so there is a whole template that we work with here. And this is kind of something new for me, but I'm really enjoying doing it. And so if you would like to have a galactic astrology reading done and see what like I said, this is, and also I wanted to say too, this is one lens to show your star lineage. You know, there are many who work with the, and I also work a little with the Galactic Akashic Records, and there are some that's all they work with. And so, but this works for me because I've been an astrologer for over 20 years, and I really, this just really resonates with me, this particular lens. All right. So if you would like to have an astrology reading, a galactic astrology reading done by me, Sibyl Star, you can reach me on my website at www.sibylstar.com. All right. And I want to thank you all for coming and watching this video. And I want to send blessings to everyone. Namaste and blessings to all. Oh, and also in my description box, I'm going to have more about how to reach me as well.